show that's more than just sports.
Welcome to The Bottom Line.
With U of M great and former NFL star Braylon Edwards and Ryan Ermanni. Sit back and let's talk some Detroit sports right now on The Bottom Line.
And here we go, Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards, Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
How does the moon cut his hair?
How?
Eclipse it.
Ba-dum-bum. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Atch.
That's who?
God bless you.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, hey, man.
It's
for
tricky.
Every dad joke you got, I got one, too.
You got
how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I see that dad jokes are a thing. Everywhere you turn, everybody's telling dad jokes. And I got to admit, man, ever since I've turned 39, I'm starting to act older, man. So I really appreciate the dad jokes. I'm getting them in when I can. So it feels good to be 39 and cracking dad jokes.
I'm 43 and I feel old regardless, and I know, but not as old as Tom Mazawey is over there. Good afternoon to you, Tom.
I'm young at heart, baby.
Give us
at heart.
I know you got some good dad jokes. You're from New Jersey. I know guys in New Jersey. I know they tell great stories.
I got some, but I'll probably be canceled, so I'm not saying it.
Give us one.
My dad jokes are dirty.
Give us one.
Let me think about it. All right?
Okay, we'll let you
let me think about it.
Hey, guys, by the way, did you know that 15 years ago today,
Pistons
this little thing changed the world. 15 years ago today, the iPhone sold its first phone in the United States. Incredible. Do you remember back to that time, Bray?
I'm ready. Yeah, so I definitely remember back to that time. It was 2007. I think I actually had the week of that. I had my first charity event. It was a charity bowling event in which Fox 2 was actually out there. Fox 2, this was at Lucky Strike. This was Lucky Strike used to be a thing to go to. And I just remember the process of trying to get that iPhone. I remember you either had to go to the iStore or the Apple Store, or you had to go to AT&T. Because in 2007, AT&T was the only one they were the only provider with the contract, and they had it for the first 4 years to 2011. But I just remember we had a connection at Apple Store in Troy, right around the corner, and that fell apart on the day the iPhone came out, and we're scrambling around trying to figure out what to do with it. And my mom knew somebody at the AT&T store on 14 and Orchard Lake, and so my mom waited up there for 3-4 hours, and she got 4 freaking phones with her and my stepdad.
You know what's
Shout
funny?
Out to Mom. Appreciate you.
It's funny because if you thought back to that time, you were being inundated with commercials like this.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hello, Barney.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Bonjour.
Hi. How you doing there? Yellow. Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yo, yo. Hello? 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 Hello?
There's never been an iPod that can do this. Or this. Or this. Or for that matter, this. This is how you turn it on. This is your music. This is your email. This is the web. And this is a call on your iPhone.
So there you go. Mr. John Appleseed called. I always want. How do you figure out what the name is to that guy? Like John Appleseed. What? Obviously, that name has some significance for Apple.
Yeah.
I just always wondered about that. But nonetheless, inundated with commercials about Apple and the iPhone and going sideways and reading the New York Times and all this such. And Braylon, it was a status symbol at that point as well.
Not only a status symbol, I get back to that because I was in the NFL at the time. So 100% I agree with the status symbol side of things, man. Like if you didn't have an iPhone, iPhone, if you were still showing up with that Nextel, or if you still had one of those gray Sprints, or you had one of those Razors, which, it was a new phone.
That's
but
what I had, a Razor.
Exactly, a Razor.
But it wasn't an iPhone.
It was by Singular, I think, or whatever. But if you had the iPhone, like you watched that commercial, just remember what the time was back then. To go from where we were electronic-wise, phone-wise, to being able to watch a movie on your phone, to being able to have music on your phone, to be able to accurately use the internet on your phone, and be able to accurately touch text. You could before that you had those buttons. It was 3 letters per button?
Yeah, you had to hit the number 2 3 times in order to get the number the letter D or whatever.
Exactly. So that made life easier, and it was like I gotta do whatever it is. Luckily, I was in the NFL, so I didn't have to. But I gotta do whatever I gotta do to get one of these iPhones. And man, they were selling like hotcakes. And it was also way before they had insurance. So if you broke or messed your iPhone up back then, that'd be another $750.
Well, that was funny because I think there were $500 to start.
That
was the first thing. There were $500 at the start, and it was, Braylon, an enormous expense. Nobody could even fathom paying $500 for a phone like that. And now you drop $1,000 without batting an eye at it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so I remember my brother bought me my first iPhone. He got himself one. He got me one for a gift. And I thought I was so cool, man.
Yeah.
I
What's
was
it up to 13 now, right?
Yeah,
iPhone 13.
Something ridiculous like that. So on this day, 15 years ago, and Tom, we cannot live life without these things anymore.
I know I can't. And my daughters are right now under punishment from Kathy at home. Spending way too much time on theirs. And Maddie is doing household chores right now for spending way too much time on her iPhone right now. That's the only way to get back at my girls is to take their phones away
What's
from them.
Abby doing today?
Abby has got her phone because she is watching some kids right now.
Abby is watching my kids right now.
What? What in the family is going on? I love it.
Oh, man. How about that?
We should get her on the phone right now and see how she's doing.
She's 18.
I just got a text from somebody that is a friend of the show, DJ Tom T.
What's up, DJ Tom T?
And
Love him.
And we're talking about iPhone being elitist. Talking about back then it was a status symbol. That's still the same to this day. And he makes a good point. If a chick texts you and it's green, she's sports.
It's over. I mean, green is bad.
Like, how many times have you been in a group chat? You're like, who the hell has the green? Who has the droid?
Right.
It's the same to this day. It's just a little less. But back then with the iPhone, it more so was like, oh, you don't have an iPhone, you can't afford it. Now at least Android's technology matches iPhone. But back then, it was, you don't have an iPhone? Boo.
Right.
We're not friends with you.
When I send a video out to a bunch of people and it doesn't go through, it's because one person has an Android.
Yes.
And it doesn't mesh.
I know it. Isn't that something?
It doesn't mesh.
Let me ask you guys this question, and I'll get off the iPhone momentarily. If you could go back and never have the iPhone, do you think we'd be better off or worse off?
Any phone?
No, the iPhone, which some sort of touch technology, a computer in your pocket.
Yes, we'd be better off.
We'd be better off.
It's too much at our fingertips.
Yeah.
It's too much access, too much right now,
better.
all that, and so it would be better. But man, I'm so glad for insurance because I'm telling you like this. And those first, because insurance didn't really happen until 2000. I want to say 11, maybe. I think that's when insurance started happening. Those first 4 years, easily, I spent probably $10,000 in just like broken iPhones, water damage, like jumping in the water, forgetting I had the phone in my pocket.
Man.
Hey man, fun times.
Hey Braylon, also I wanted to get back to a conversation that we had last week about who is tougher, NFL or NHL players. After watching, I went back. I love that Unrivaled documentary so much. I watched it. But not the whole thing, but bits and pieces of it again. I fast forwarded to my favorite parts.
Yeah.
It is unquestionably NHL players. And what I found last night was, you're too good looking. You're too good looking.
A lot of ugly guys.
Show me an NFL player whose face looks like a hockey player. Their noses are on their cheekbones. Their eyes got all slits of cuts in it.
Look at Adam Foote.
I mean,
That
Adam
poor
Foote's
guy.
nose
Oh
is in
God.
his ear. There's no
Look at
football.
Drapes.
There's no foot. Drapes has an indent
Drapes
in his
is handsome
face.
now. He looks great
Yeah, but
now.
he's still got that indent in his face.
Yeah, he looks
There's
great.
no
He's a
football
handsome
player.
man.
There's no football player. Braylon's face is too handsome. for him to be
I'm
tough.
pretty. I'm pretty. Look at me. I'm the greatest.
I'm so pretty.
That's
I'm
so
so
pretty.
pretty. I just look pretty. I fight pretty. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Nah, but
You're too handsome.
I appreciate that, and I take that with a grain of salt because I got those hands. Just like I got those hands. That's what got me in some trouble. But you're right. When I was watching Unrivaled, because I've seen it twice as well. I watched it again last night. I can't stop watching it, and it also reminds me of how good Detroit was as a sports town. But the stuff that they do, they go through the hits and coming right back out there, and then Maz makes a good point playing without helmets. Well, football players did it too. Yeah, now with a 112 mile an hour slap shot coming at you. So we're both a little on the mental side.
Right.
But I think hockey players, they eclipse us in bringing my joke back around.
I was just looking at Joe Sakic's cuts on his lip, Claude Lemieux, and then
Drapes, obviously.
Drapes dent.
Even why?
McCarthy's nose. Why? Forsberg needs the big bifocals to see because his face has been
a lot of orbital eye socket injuries. In hockey, man.
My goodness.
A lot of guys wearing glasses and fake teeth.
Guys, big show for you today. We're going to talk about University of Michigan football. We'll do so with Anthony Broome, who covers Michigan football for the Wolverine on 3. And we're going to talk to him because Michigan lost a 5-star guy. Under ordinary circumstances, you wouldn't think anything of it. But I don't think you can now not consider the fact that Michigan is not paying guys. And this kid, this linebacker, Raylan Wilson, may want to look around a little bit and see what his value would be on the open market, because that's essentially what it seems like it is. Also, Deshaun Watson, what is the likely suspension for him? We'll get to that in hour number 2. College football, should divisions go away, or should conferences go away with divisions? All that and more. But first, Troy Weaver does it again. Are they now out? It appears that the Pistons will not use a max guy this year, sign a max guy in free agency. Trade yesterday. We'll get to that next. Tell you why we do not anticipate DeAndre Ayton or Miles Bridges here in Detroit next season. But first, a message from MyBookie.
All right, and I got to read this one, guys, because this is new. Copy, and it's UFC related. Listen, bettors, do not let other bettors alone. They don't let them do it. So grab a few cold ones, call up your best buds, and get ready for an action-packed UFC 276. Will current champion Israel Izzy Adesanya keep his title, or will the challenger Jared Cannonier walk out of the octagon victorious? Either way, you can walk away a winner with MyBookie. Right now, when you join the MyBookie community, you'll get an instant deposit bonus. Use the promo code Woodward. They'll match your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Several big-name UFC fighters dropping their own predictions, as a matter of fact, on the MyBookie social channels all week long. So plenty of options to choose from if you don't know who to back. Bet one fight or parlay multiple bets to raise the stakes on the UFC card. So make sure you entertain. Don't forget to use the promo code Woodward to bet with me and the rest of the MyBookie community. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups.
Detroit fans were there.
4 World Series wins.
Detroit fans were there.
And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, we're going to end that feed and move you over exclusively to our YouTube channel, Woodward Sports on YouTube. You watch on your computer, on your phone, or even your television. Just use that voice remote, Woodward Sports on YouTube. You can sit and throw us on your big screen there, on your big flat screen. Why not do that? Hey, we're talking Pistons. Troy Weaver does it again, Braylon Edwards, or at least it seems like he has. it looks like he fleeced the Knicks. But
poor Knicks.
After me coming out here and saying that Al Avila fleeced the Tampa Bay Rays in the Austin Meadows trades, I'm going to slow my roll a little bit on that.
Slow your roll.
But it appears in the trade yesterday, the Pistons acquire Knicks center Nerlans Noel and guard Alec Burks, who are both on expiring contracts. Final year of the deal, about $19 million more in salary. For the Knicks, this seems like a salary dump to make a play for Jalen Brunson, the guard from the Dallas Mavericks. For the Pistons, incidentally, they get themselves a veteran in the front court, a veteran in the back court who can shoot the three. Alec Burks, 40% from downtown last year. It's where the Pistons were one of the worst teams in the league at shooting the three ball. This is a win-win-win for the Detroit Pistons. You get your veterans, you take on a little bit of salary, and you are essentially out now, I believe. You got about $20 million more in cap space. Not nearly enough to sign a max guy this year. Now all those guys come off the books next year, and then you go get your guy.
Yeah, and I think with Troy Weaver, I listened to the interview. He interviewed, and he was said as to after the deal went down, he was said, "Hey, look, man, you know what I'm saying? We want to get guys in here, but we want the right guys." But usually you hear that and you're like, oh, here we go, another Michigan spill, the right guys, or the Detroit Lions, the right guys. But then he added another caveat to it. He said, yeah, we want the right guys that can play ball. So I think that's what you're saying from them. It's not for the Detroit Pistons, it wasn't just picking up some players and doing the Knicks a favor. It's picking up some players that can help in Troy Weaver. You look at what Nerlans Noel can do. Once upon a time, this guy averaged double-double. See, now he's a guy, another body, kind of like a Claxton out there with the Brooklyn Nets. You need a guy that you can throw bodies out there. You need a high-energy guy, guys that can run the court. You just don't want to have a big guy out there like an Andre Drummond that can't run the court. When Marvin Bagley III's not out there, when Jalen Duren's not out there, you want a guy out there that can run the court with these young guys, go up and down, and that's what Nerlens Noel can do. Also, a guy like Alec Burks can shoot the blood out the ball. You need guys that were open. That was one thing that we struggled in last year. If Cade was hot, if Sadiq Bey was hot, we don't need to have the situation where it's if guys are hot. You need to have a situation where you have some veteran guys that can shoot the ball when they're open. That's what basketball used to be. Am I right, Maz?
Absolutely.
If the guy's in the corner like Jeff Hornacek, don't leave Hornacek in the corner because he'll kill you every time. You need guys like that. And I think Troy Weaver, once again, you see it's unfolding right before our very eyes.
And they get two guys that are above the age of 22 years old, so they can maybe show these kids. You heard them. It's funny, if you leave all these rookies together, they're just going to eat each other alive. They get 2 number 2 picks and $6 million thrown in there as well. So, not bad. For free.
And again,
it's 2 free guys.
Again, and I'm okay with the thought that this team is this franchise, it's going to take a couple of years for them to get there. This season is going to be one of growing. Each and every player on this team, I anticipate, and the hope is that they get better. I don't know if the wins are going to come next year, and to be honest with you, and this may be a loser's mentality, but I feel because I believe in Troy Weaver, I believe in the direction of the franchise, I like the moves that they've done, I like the moves that they're doing, and I think it's all working to not just make the Pistons good one year, but to have an elongated run of success. And I think maybe you just need to go through one more learning tough year, and then next season you start to shoot for the playoffs and beyond.
See, now you're in the ballpark. Now we're talking about the main word we used when we talked about Troy Weaver after the draft, patience. The main word we talked about with Brad Holmes, patience.
Patience with a purpose, though.
Patience with a purpose, 100%. Stevie White, same thing. What Troy Weaver is doing, everybody Aiden. Everybody said Aiden. And even people that didn't like DeAndre Ayton or couldn't understand necessarily what DeAndre Ayton's value would be to the Pistons, they started jumping on the bandwagon because that's what was out there. What did Troy Weaver do? Troy Weaver didn't say, oh, well, I got to go make this room. I got to go get Aiden because that's what the people want. Troy Weaver assessed the situation and said, who is DeAndre Ayton? Because I think the deal's over with DeAndre Ayton.
Absolutely.
It's over. Who is DeAndre Ayton at his best, at his worst? Does he disappear? All these things. He's an intriguing guy. We don't need to bring intriguing guys in here. Like the money that we have, we don't need to bring intriguing guys in here. You bring role players around here that you know what they're going to do, or you're going to bring stars to complement to some extent, Cade and Jaden Ivey, that you know what you're getting when you get out of them. When you bring them here, you already know what they're going to do when they lace their sneakers up at LCA. I don't want to be playing the guessing game when you bring somebody like that, especially the type of money that DeAndre Ayton would have garnered.
So funny, too, Braylon, because how many people out there like me, you get a little bit of extra money, and what do? You spend it. You spend it. You act a fool. You know, Troy Weaver got himself a little bit of money or a lot of bit of money this offseason, and he wasn't going to Charlie Villanueva, Ben Gordon this thing up.
Are we talking about Joe D?
I mean, well look, sorry, but that's essentially what that felt like back then. And I guess we don't need to revisit Joe D, but the bottom line is that those two big-time free agent signings cost a lot of money and got very little results and hamstrung this organization for an awful long time. Troy Weaver got a little bit of money, and he's got a long-term plan to spend it. And I just think when you got a guy that is able to control the purse strings like that, I think that's winning stuff. That is winning stuff.
Also, nothing comes of anything forced. Nothing comes out of desperation. In those situations with Joe D., Miss Davidson told him, look, selling the franchise, like, you got one crack at this. And they sold the franchise within 4 years of that. So the only thing that they can do is he said, hey, I made the decision, say, you know what, got to win now. Let's go up to Ben Gore. Let's try to get these guys. The difference is Tom Gores is not letting Troy Weaver go anywhere. Troy Weaver understands that he has time to build this franchise up the right way. They believe in him in the Pistons organization, so he can do it the right way. He's not out here trying to take wild shots in the dark just to get it done now because he may not be here tomorrow. He's making methodical moves because he knows he has time, he knows he has space, and he knows he has the ear and belief of the Detroit Pistons.
No doubt about it. So very high on what Troy Weaver's doing with the Detroit Pistons. Now, that being said, these guys are going to have to get better this year. There's no doubt. I mean, Saddiq Bey, do you take him for granted a little bit that he's going to take that next step? Cade Cunningham, the biggest jump, Braylon, is between that first and second year.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
it is.
That's going to be a significant jump. I mean, how good can Jaden Ivey be? I mean, there's a long way to go, and it's not. I don't think it's out of the question that the Pistons pick in the top 3, top 4, top 5 next year.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. The big thing is, Cade, who do you want to be? Like, Cade, how good are you? Cade, like, what type of leader are you? We talk about all the time. That was one of the endearing things to me as I watched the season play out last year. I just loved his leadership. I loved who he was on the sideline. I loved who he was to the media. Like, I loved his leadership. Okay, let's take it a step further. Now it's your first offseason. Where's your leadership like? What conversations are you having with Saddiq Bey? How are you getting the guys together? Have you made that first call to Jaden Ivey and say, hey, where you at? Let's get on this court. Let's work. We got work to do. We need you now. We don't need you in 2 years. We need you now. Like, that's the next step for Cade Cunningham. And if they get those things done, if they get it done like that and everybody's on board, don't be shocked. And that, like you said, free agency is not over and really hasn't even started. So seeing who they add to the team, mixed in with Cade taking that next step in the summer, Saddiq Bey as well, Pistons could do something. 38, once again, 38 games is what I predict.
You haven't mentioned the guy we drafted a couple of years back.
Killian.
Our number 1 pick.
Killian Hayes?
Yeah, it's the only name I haven't heard you guys mention.
And I think one of the Pistons beat writers, and I forgot which one, tweeted out today, he is the longest tenured Piston. And forgive me, I know it was a beat writer. I don't know which one it was, but I remember scrolling through Twitter, seeing that, and I got a chuckle out of it. Killian Hayes, the longest tenured Piston right now. I think you guys might think I'm crazy.
I hope he could shoot.
I think Killian Hayes is going to be a factor for this team. I really do. The kid was 19 when he got drafted. He missed the entire season. Last year was essentially his rookie year. He got better as the year went on. He's just 21 years old. Give the guy a little bit of a break here, I think.
All right.
We want everything right now. And for some, it takes a little bit longer. See Chris Middleton.
Well, listen, he's got an opportunity to grow on this team that's not going to win a championship in the next couple of years. So let's see if he has indeed grown. He has to learn how to shoot first.
The good thing about Killian Hayes is, from the standpoint, the pressure is somewhat off of Killian Hayes. Last year, supposedly, he's the second best player on the team. And then he gets pushed to 3 because Saddiq Bey is the third best player on the team. Now he's the fourth best player on the team when you add Jaden Ivey and the potential what Jalen Duren was. I think it allows him some time to be in the background, get his game together. Ryan, you hit the nail on the head, man. Like my rookie year, I got hurt, I got injured. So coming back that second year, which is supposed to be the biggest stuff, the biggest leap, I'm coming off injury, so it adds that an extra element to the comeback of that season.
Yeah,
so.
Chuck Brewer on Twitter, Braylon, better example than I gave. See Chauncey Billups.
Yeah,
right. How long did it take Chauncey Billups?
Celtics, Raptors, Nuggets again. Yeah.
No doubt. Guys, we're going to take a break. Come right back. Talk a little Michigan football. A 5-star player decommitted from the University of Michigan. I believe it was yesterday. We'll talk to Anthony Broome about that. See what's up about it. Divisions in college football, are they a thing of the past? And Jim Harbaugh's stance on NIL. Is it going to, and has it, cost him some big-name guys? We'll talk to the Broomer about it next. But first, a message from SMA.
The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the F Word, helps spread awareness about fentanyl and other addictions as well as mental health. Look, we are just really trying to have the conversation. We're trying to find out why it's okay being good, not being good. Talking to Sean Jordan of SMA. I actually just talked to him a minute ago. Kids are going through new all-time highs of things in schools. Their mental is fragile, can't be broken easy. Parents, we got to get on the ball. We got to get on the ball about our brothers, about our friends, about our fathers, about everyone. Got to get on the ball. Want to have the conversation? Go to thesportsma.com. Get answers, all the answers you need. Sean Jordan.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
When you need apparel, there is only one place to go. Big Frog Nova.
Big Frog!
Say it with your chest out. Ribbit, ribbit. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing. Big Frog has the styles you want. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4BIG-FROG. That's bigfrog.com/Novi.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. We are well over 27,000 subscribers now. Growing.
Did you ever know that you would have that many people listening to your voice and your opinions and your thoughts?
You know what? I didn't know what to expect when we started here, Braylon. To be honest with you, back in August, coming up on a year, I thought, maybe we'd have, a couple hundred people a show listen to us. Not a few thousand, and then, 100,000 downloads or whatever in the month. And it's good stuff, man. I'm having the time of my life right now working with you, talking a little sports. You and Maz and all these guys, Fletch and Flannel. I mean, that should be the next podcast, Fletch and Flannel.
I know,
I want to hear
right?
what these guys have to say.
I would love to. I think that, and it's funny you bring those two up. That's what I love about being out in the public and running into people that want to talk about Woodward sports. Like, obviously, me, I appreciate that. But when they talk about, it was like, hey, man, we love listening to Maz and his grandpa stories. Like, or we,
enough of the grandpas.
We're messing with you. Or you got the older ladies that come up. Asking about this guy.
We know that.
Here.
I'm very big in the plus 60 crowd.
But then I'll run into random people. They'll be like, man, you guys should do a segment on Flannel and like how does he pick his shirts and what color is he gonna wear this day, and they know Fletch's hair when he wears it out now. So I love Fish. Fish is the one they ask me about all the time. But
when I was first approached about this show, Chad mentioned it. I'm here because of Chad, right? And then Chad's a winner and thought we'd have every sort of resource possible, and we do, to succeed. and then we were put together, and here we go. We're still talking about sports a year later, coming up on that. And
they didn't take the microphones from us.
No, they have not, and the check's still clear, so that's good too. But let's get to it. Talking a little Michigan football right now. You can follow him on Twitter at the Wolverine on 3, covers Michigan football. Anthony Broome is with us. Broomer, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Ant.
Good to be back. Thanks for thinking of me. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Good to see you, man.
First things first, Anthony, and you follow this stuff closely. The first thing I thought of when I saw the news that 5-star linebacker Raylan Wilson decommitted from Michigan was that, well, I guess this is what a transformational experience looks like instead of a transactional one. Is that fair? Because a year ago I would have never thought like that. Or just, guys decommit all the time. But now I can't help but think, this is what it's about.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because our EJ Holland, who's the kind of the recruiting guru on our site, has kind of been throwing out there that Raylan has had a wandering eye for a bit, even going back to when he committed. It was a surprise, but a pleasant one. Anytime you get a guy that's that talented out of the state of Florida. So, yeah, I mean, right now things are rough on the recruiting trail. I don't think that message of transformational, not transactional, I don't think that's resonating, but there are other schools that are throwing out that type of message too, like a Notre Dame. Like there are other schools kind of in that same mold as Michigan that are saying that and having a lot more success. So I do think it goes a little bit deeper than that. I think in this particular recruitment, I don't know if the kid was ever a lock for Michigan, even after he committed, but yeah, the optics of it just they're not great right now.
Yeah, Anthony Broome, bringing you in again. Braylon Edwards here. Looking at what Michigan has done as it relates to players transfer and entering the transfer portal over the past 5 years, they lead the nation. I believe they had 37 going into last season. Now, if you want to include this as well, as a decommit, you want to stand on the side of, is this something that Jim Harbaugh had to do in the past? And I say no. I think for this the Raylan issue, I think it's more so just, you know what? Money's out there, don't want to go there, and I don't think Michigan's going to change who they are. Michigan's doing it the right way. Because as we talk about, Raylan, I want to ask you this. Do you think at some point the NCAA will step in and this course will correct itself? Where does Michigan, Notre Dame, Michigan State, teams like that want to be? Do you want to be with Oklahoma and LSU?
That's the thing, too, is I think like all markets right now, you see it with the housing market, you see it with the car market. Like, I think that the bubble's going to burst eventually because what you're going to see with a guy, for example, there's a kid, the quarterback that just committed to Miami, I think is getting $9 million or something like that. What happens when you dole out that type of money and you're not getting that return on investment? I think that's where we might see the bubble burst in terms of course correction. I don't know. I mean, Braylon, you can speak to this. I mean, I don't know that the NCAA is well equipped to course correct on anything. In fact, I think things will probably just get worse with them not taking action on certain issues. I think where the action might take place is there's legislative stuff that's out there that is obviously there's a lot of other stuff going on in the world and in our country, but that is something that I think there's probably down the road we're going to get some sort of congressional action on because it is the Wild West right now, and I don't know. They say you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I think that's where we're at the moment.
Hey, Anthony, I want to ask you, you had mentioned that, things are not that great on the recruiting trail right now. And to me, it's kind of shocking a little bit because Michigan's coming off their best season in 20 years. They're the defending Big Ten champs. What do you attribute that to?
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, let's call a spade. I think with the coaching stuff and Jim Harbaugh's status for the first 6 weeks of the calendar year, I think that was a self-inflicted wound. I think that is hurting them a bit. Not only that, but you replaced both of your coordinators. There has been some shuffling around. And usually, here's the other thing too, is that typically in the spring, your recruiting class gets kicked off by you getting your quarterback in. And Michigan has put all of its eggs in the Dante Moore basket, and that's dangerous too. And it cost them CJ Carr, a 5-star in their backyard for next year. They put all their eggs in that basket, and now it's looking like he's going to go to Oregon. So all of a sudden, you're sitting here, you're coming off of a month where June was supposed to be a huge recruiting month for them, and you're just not seeing. I mean, they've had guys drop, and they have a couple of 4-stars in the class. Things will pick up. Like it boils down to, like, you got to get back to winning football games and get that momentum back. But when you look at the other schools that are selling the same type of opportunity, the transformational, not transactional thing, the difference is that I think most of those programs didn't spend the first 4, 5, 6 weeks of the year nuking its momentum on its own. So Michigan has to get that momentum back by winning games, and they got to figure out this NIL stuff. We've seen them start to kind of get sniped off by programs that they're not really usually recruiting against, like your North Carolinas, your Iowas of the world. There needs to be a correction there, but I think the quickest path to getting that momentum back is to just go out there and do it again.
Hey, Anthony, you just brought up something, a quick pivot. You brought up C.J. Carr. Did C.J. Carr, was he wanted by Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan football staff, or was it a decision where, you know what, C.J. Carr didn't want to be there, or was it just a mutual deal because now he's talking about Oregon and now Notre Dame? What's going on with that?
Yeah, the C.J. Carr stuff is interesting because it's one of those things where you would think, given, Lloyd Carr's grandson, you have the bird in the hand of, he has all the ties to the program. Now, there are conflicting reports that he was always looking to go out of state. I don't know that I necessarily believe that to be the case. I think it came down to, if you have these 2 5-star quarterbacks in the state of Michigan, in Dante Moore, who's a 2023, and in Carr, who's a 2024, it always felt like it was going to be extremely unlikely that both of those guys would wind up in the same spot. Notre Dame, same deal. They were recruiting Dante Moore extremely hard. They wind up getting Carr because Michigan was going all in on Moore. And I don't think that was the wrong way for Michigan to go about it. But now you're sitting here going, okay, well, we might not get either of these guys. And they can stop the bleeding there again. They're in on a guy in 2024, Jaden Davis, another 5-star kid. He was actually spurned by Ohio State. So you've got that going for you too. So that's a guy I think for 2024, they're probably, if Dante Moore does go through with this Oregon thing, you're probably putting your eggs in that basket and then taking a look probably in-state to the kid from De La Salle, who's currently committed to Cincinnati. So it wouldn't be as big a splash as you were hoping for in 2023, but you still got a couple of years of J.J. McCarthy on the roster too. So things aren't super terrible the way that some would have you believe, but it's also, to go 0 for 2 on those big targets would be pretty hurtful.
I got to tell you, my nephew goes to De La Salle, Brady Drogosh. Look out for him.
Yeah.
Good player. Maz, I know you had something here.
Yeah, go back to C.J. Carr for a minute, Ant. Tammy Carr, the night before the announcement, someone supposedly hacked her Twitter. Did you guys find out more about that, or is that really the real deal?
I can't speak to that. I mean, I don't know. It's at the end of the day, it was a liked tweet. I mean, I've scrolled through Twitter before and liked stuff on accident, and then you unlike it, but someone gets a screenshot. Like, I think that's pretty much a non-issue.
Sure.
I don't see much to that, Mass, to be honest with you.
I figured I would just stir the pot.
Oh, good job, Mass. Hey, Anthony, can we hold you for another segment?
I got some more questions for this guy, man.
Sure.
All right,
Yeah,
great. We're going to take a 30-second break. When we come back, more about the 2022 football season and the Big Ten as a whole with Anthony Broome, the Wolverine on 3. We'll do it next, but first a message from the Folding Warehouse.
In Hamtramck, Michigan, my 2 favorite games. Chris Hunt invented it. Football and bowling put together. 2 ways to play it. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. 10 or 12 of your closest friends and family. You can do that. Have it for yourself for 2 hours. Cost you $120. Less than $10 per person. How about that, huh? Bring your own food in. Have it delivered. The bar is open. Over 100 beers they have. The $2 mystery beer machine. How about it? Any drink you want, they can make for you. So get your foal on. The place is huge. Spread out. Watch TV. Do whatever you want. It's in Hamtramck. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. For more information, it's foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Planet Fitness is inviting all high school teens between the ages of 14 and 19 to work out for free all summer long up until August 31st via the High School Summer Pass. Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating...
No judgments.
No judgments.
No judgments.
Judgment-free atmosphere. Membership starts at only $10 a month, or you can get a black card for just $24.99 per month. Join today in-club online at www.planetfitness.com. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
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 Essential. Hey, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We've got Anthony Broome talking Michigan football. Covers Michigan football for the Wolverine on 3. You can follow him and them on Twitter at the Wolverine on 3. Braylon?
Yeah, you know, we're talking so much about NIL. You talk about the off-the-field things. You talk about transactional versus transformational. Let's get into the nuts and bolts. Let's talk about on the football field, man. What do you think Michigan's ceiling is this year? And I'll leave it at that. What do you think their ceiling is coming off the Big Ten championship last year against the Iowa Hawkeyes?
I think their ceiling is that they really do have a shot to go out and do this again. I think they're probably better up front on both sides of the ball. Not defensively, we'll see what happens with the edge rushers, but I think that they're going to be more athletic defensively. I think that offensively, if your quarterback, whoever it winds up being, can take a step forward, you've got skill players galore. I mean, what gets lost in some of this off-season stuff is that this is going to be a really good football team.
Yes.
And the schedule sets up really nice for them. So, yeah, I think fans should be pumped for that. I think that's the ceiling, is that, yeah, they can go out and do it again. Again, I don't know if they're going to be quote unquote better, but they could go into Columbus with a shot to win the Big Ten. And I'd still, in the here and now, I know that there's the Ohio State hype, but I'd give them a decent shot to go in there and grab a win, just with what they have up front on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you wholeheartedly. What do you make, and we've talked about this, Ryan, Maz, we've been talking about this. What do you make of the two quarterback situation? Ryan asks this all the time. If you got two quarterbacks, then you really have how many, which is none. Michigan's sitting there with Cade. They're sitting there with JJ. You got people arguing on behalf of both those guys. What do you make of that? Will that hinder them this season?
Yeah, the two quarterbacks, you don't have none thing. I think that's a little bit different in college because it's such a different game, just the way that these teams play. I mean, I think the baseline for that, if you can roll into this season with that same dynamic that they had last year, I think despite what the naysayers say, it did work. I mean, you were able to throw defenses off balance when they brought JJ in there to use his legs, and I think that he probably will even develop a little bit more as a passer, so it isn't so one-dimensional to where you go, all right, JJ's in the game, like here comes a run play. So that's good. I mean, I still think despite the shoulder injury in the spring, I think that JJ could have a huge camp and win the job. I don't know if I'd call him the favorite to do that. I think that with Cade McNamara's experience and he'll keep saying it and he'll keep pointing at the sign. I'm a Big Ten championship winning quarterback, and that matters to this coaching staff. I think it matters to the team. I think the team is actually, usually you get factions when you have these quarterback battles. I think that they're excited for both of these guys because at the very least, you know what you're going to get. It's kind of the mystery box that's exciting. So last year kind of proved that they can do it the Cade McNamara way. I think that the quarterback position is going to have to do a little bit more for this team, given the fact that they are going to take a little bit of a step back defensively. And, you don't have Hassan Haskins to pound the rock, 28, 29, 30 times a game, especially in those short yardage spots. So your quarterbacks, you're going to have to get ahead of schedule on early downs. And I think that puts more pressure on your quarterback. And I think that will play an effect in what this battle looks like during camp.
Anthony Broome, the Wolverines on 3. I don't know if you'll be able to answer this question. Maybe you will or not. Does Jim Harbaugh, is he going to play the best player, or is he going to do what he thinks is, I don't know, the nice thing to do? You see what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like J.J. McCarthy's the better quarterback, but Cade McNamara is a Big Ten championship winning quarterback. So how do you take that guy out of the lineup? I mean, what does Jim Harbaugh do? Does he just play the best guy, or is there other things that go into it?
There was a press conference we had with him last year. I want to say it was maybe during Maryland week or coming off Penn State week, whatever it was. It was before Ohio State. Basically, someone had asked him essentially what you just did, and I thought his comment on it was pretty interesting. He said, "These guys understand that the quarterback position is at best least. It's not given to anyone." So, I think the door is open for. And this is the other thing: is Jim Harbaugh, since he's been at Michigan, when you look at burning red shirts, when you look at the guys that are on the field, guys with special teams in any role, he has always been steadfast that the best player is going to be on the field. So I don't know what that criteria looks like for the quarterback position. I know for them it's going to be, we want you to run the offense, we want you to lead scoring drives, and we want you to not make mistakes. So there's going to be more, we know there's going to be more upside with what you could have if J.J. McCarthy's out there. But for J.J. McCarthy to be in that battle, that's the bar. That's where it starts. You got to take care of the football. You have to lead scoring drives. You have to be efficient. You have to make all the reads, all of that. And despite JJ has the physical tools, but I think what Cade executes what he's asked to do at in my opinion, a pretty high level. So if JJ McCarthy rises to that level where he's not making those mistakes, I mean, yeah, you roll the dice on the talent, but I really do think that the bar is set at what Cade McNamara gave you. It's not, well, we think that JJ's better because he can do this. I don't want to say they're risk adverse, but I think knowing the fact that they know what they have there, I think it makes it easier on them to make a decision. It's going to be pretty black and white for them.
Anthony Broome, the Wolverine on 3. Anthony, I want to talk to you about the Big Ten as a whole. The ACC going away from divisions. They're going to have 3 primary opponents annually, and then the other 10 teams in the league they'll play. It's twice, a home and away over a 10-year cycle. Does the Big Ten, are they close to doing something like that, just moving away from East and West and getting one long 14-team league?
I think that we'll probably have that direction, and we'll probably know something more about that. About this time next month, we'll be at Big Ten Media Days, and I'm sure stuff will, they love to plan all this stuff out for the rollouts for the network and all that type of stuff. So I'm sure we'll get some clarity on that. I think, in my opinion, I think that's the way to go. With Michigan, you'd have the 3 protected opponents. And listen, you are a historical power with rivals that are usually pretty good. So if you have 2 of those 3 games are protected rivals, to me, it comes to the territory of being who you are. You can't worry about having a tougher schedule than everyone else and things like that. So if you're Michigan and they go to a model like that, you're probably hoping that it goes to where you have Ohio State, Michigan State locked in, and then maybe Northwestern, Indiana, or I don't know, something like that. I was going to ask you that. Who would Michigan's 3 teams be? I mean, obviously Michigan State, Ohio State. Who would be that third?
Penn State.
If it was something like that.
Minnesota.
Penn State.
Minnesota.
Yeah, it could be Penn State too. I mean, that's, again, inherently that gives you probably the 3 toughest, or right up there with the 3 toughest protected opponents you could have. But again, I'm of the opinion that Michigan did it last year. You know why you won the Big Ten and got to the college football playoff? Because you won your way there, right? Yeah. So I don't have an issue with having a tougher schedule or things like that. But again, if we're talking about what's fair, having that 3rd slot kind of be like more of a Minnesota or a Indiana or insert team here, that's probably more fair and beneficial to them. But again, it just comes with the territory of being the program with the pedigree that they have.
This isn't a question. This is more so just, I guess, to backdoor that comment. I agree with the Minnesota one. The reason why is because it's a rivalry. When you look at the Minnesota game, who means more to Michigan? Well, it's Minnesota. They have the little brown jug, and you can argue over, Michigan brings their own water back in 19, whenever, so it starts the little brown jug. It's a better story. Like Iowa, we don't play for anything with them. Wisconsin, as a former Michigan player, it meant a little more to play against Minnesota. There was a little bit on the line more when you played against Minnesota, and you can't have Michigan State or Ohio State not be your consistent rival. So I like the Minnesota one. I think that's the one. And with PJ Fleck, every once in a while, Minnesota's floating with being winning the West. It was 2 years ago, Minnesota almost won the West. 4 years ago, they were right in the contention. Even last year, they had some good moments for PJ Fleck with no Ibrahim. So Minnesota would be my guess.
Anthony, I got something for you. Take me to Michigan State. What do you think the Spartans have in store for us in 2022?
Nothing.
That's interesting. Like I said, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I think that as long as Mel Tucker is there, you have the 2 wins over Michigan. I don't care if they come into the game 4-3 or whatever the record is, or they're undefeated. Like, that's going to be arguably the toughest, most physical football game you play all season. In terms of what they have on the roster, again, you had a guy who, for what my money's worth, should have been in New York last year, Kenneth Walker, in the Heisman ceremony. To not have that guy out there, I don't know. I see a really good football team. I see an 8 or 9 win football team. I don't know that they have that superstar guy that can carry them through a season this year. Maybe it's Peyton Thorne. I thought he played fairly well throughout the year. Maybe he takes a step forward, but it's going to be tough. And you'd think that, at least from if they just had a slightly below average pass defense last year, they might win the Big Ten, because you don't lose to Purdue. You're going to Indianapolis. We'll see, but yeah, I think it's always tough in the short term, but long term, especially when you look at what they've been able to do with NIL and on the recruiting trail, they're not going anywhere. Any Michigan fan that thinks that last year was a one-year wonder, I don't see that right now.
It's always good to talk college football, especially in the month of June. Can't wait as we get closer to football season. Anthony, we'd love to have you back. Love your stuff. The Wolverine on 3. Check them out there. Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it.
You got it. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to follow up on something that Anthony said about the Jim Harbaugh press conference a little while back. Whoever is the best player is going to play.
But are they?
That is something.
But are they?
That is what we will discuss. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. It is no secret that new cars are hard to come by, but they are available at Les Stanford. Allocation coming in for lease or purchase of new vehicles. Plus, at Les Stanford, there's over 350 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years. Some of them with less than 500 miles on them, so they're like new. Les Stanford also, on July 27th, they will have the all-new 2023 Corvette Z06 on hand. We invite everybody to come on out and check out that new Corvette. We will be there as well, broadcasting live all day long. We invite you out July 27th. For more, LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Hey, Scott from Woodward Bet Show. Hey, we've been red hot lately. You guys got to make sure you're tuning in and checking us out. And plus, today's Wednesday. Our girl Kelly's going to be on. She's predicted the last 2 PGA Tour winners in a row. So, hey, make sure you're checking that out. You also got to make sure you check out oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and it's the best place to check all the odds at the sports books right in the palm of your hand. But, hey, let's get back to that winner. We got to stay hot. We're looking for the Angels today. Shohei's on the mound. Kopech for the White Sox. Velocity's down a little bit. Oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
At Alta.
Alta.
Uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. Have a bog project coming up? Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Emoni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey going through the chat. We certainly appreciate everybody that is in the chat. Hey, let's get to over 100 likes by the end of this segment. Can we do that? Let's do it. Go to YouTube, like our show, subscribe to Woodward Sports Network. Nearly 27,500 subscribers. How about that?
It's looking good, man.
Looking good, Braylon Edwards.
It's looking good for our future, brother.
Yes,
looking
sir.
Good. How you feeling over here, Big Mass?
I'm good, man. Just getting through. It's the dog days of sports right now. I would consider it. Wouldn't you consider this the dog days of sports?
It's the worst time of year.
It is.
Right? Because, look, the NFL is at a dead period. There's not a whole lot. College football, not a whole lot. Dead period. Baseball, the Tiger season has been over since the end of May.
Over since
thank God for the Unrivaled documentary. That gave us Detroit sports fans something to look forward to and enjoy.
Gave us something to hold over until Hard Knock.
And thank God for Troy Weaver. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, what he's been doing with this Pistons organization, methodically building for the future, and I feel really good about that team. So
what got us through COVID as sports fans? Remember?
Oh,
NASCAR.
Last Dance. Last Dance did. I would take it even a step further, though. I would say you start with Brad Holmes, and then you get to Troy Weaver. They have put a smile on Detroiters' face from the time the season was over, and then obviously the draft was in April, and now the NBA draft being in June. I think there's been a consistent smile and optimism on people that live in Detroit or metropolitan Detroiters just about the state of our teams, about what the front office seems to be getting right. Detroit's got a lot to smile about. I'm excited.
No doubt. Braylon, we had talked about it with Anthony Broome just a short time ago. And I think for Michigan, the biggest question mark is Cade or JJ. And it will continue to be the biggest question mark for the University of Michigan, or not the biggest question mark, the biggest talking point, the biggest sexy talking point, because obviously the biggest question mark is going to be how they are defensively this year. You lose, a number 2 overall player, probably would have been another top 15 pick in David Ojabo, had the ACL or the Achilles not been injured. Dax Hill, another guy, first round pick, 3 first-round
Number
guys
30.
on your defensive, not to mention Josh Ross, who is a hell of a player in the middle of that defense. So you lost a lot of talent defensively. That's the biggest question mark. But the biggest talking point, as it is with every NFL team, is the quarterback, and it's no different with the University of Michigan.
Side note, something about Cincinnati Bengals, they love Michigan players in the first round. Chris Perry was first round to the Bengals, so was Leon Hall, and so was Dax Hill. But getting back to Cade and JJ, one of the big things that Anthony said was that loyalty, the loyalty that he has. And he said that the best player will play. Whoever wins the training camp is going to be the guy. Jim, is it? Is it going to be the best guy? Because what I know about Jim Harbaugh, just watching him from Stanford, watching him play very closely in San Fran, was right there, and then watching him at the University of Michigan so far, Jim's loyal to the guy that's quarterback. It doesn't seem to matter if there's a person in the wings waiting that's better. He's going to play the guy that he builds that core, that relationship with. If you look at him since he's been here, first year quarterback was John Rudock, correct? John Rudock never John Rudock never had somebody come in for him, and we saw John Rudock struggle in the beginning. Then he figures it out. Wilton Spate comes in. Wilton Spate, guy that was just okay, figured out a little bit, had a really good year in 2016 because they were a really damn good football team, especially on defense, with Jabril Pepper being up for the Heisman that year. But a lot of people like John O'Corn in camp the next year, but he stuck with Wilton Spate. And until Wilton Spate gets hurt, and then he transferred, then he brings in John O'Corn. Like, he's a guy that stays loyal. It doesn't seem like if a guy wins, because a lot of these guys didn't win the job. And I'm talking about knowing people that were on the team at the wide receiver position. These guys that started didn't win, but these are the guys that Jim chose. When he was with San Francisco 49ers and Alex Smith got hurt, and then Cap takes over. Cap wins 8 games and goes to the Super Bowl. Jim still wanted Alex. He was loyal to Alex. Alex was his guy. So the big issue.
And you were there,
too. I was there for the start of that process, and he never liked Cap. He was always an Alex guy, but then Alex happened to get the concussion, or I think he broke his ribs and had a concussion. But with that being said, you got to wonder, can Jim take biasness aside and say, hey, I know I'm loyal to Cade McNamara because Cade got me that Big Ten championship. I've been waiting 7 years to win the Big Ten. And who was the quarterback that did it? It was Cade. Cade struggled in the Iowa game. Cade struggled a couple times last season, but you stayed with the high hand. Cade got you to the championship, stayed with the promised land. This year, you got to look in an unbiased eye. Because if I'm J.J. McCarthy, I'm not looking for those moves like last year where I'm coming in, one in every 19 plays, and they know it's a pass, or they know it's a handoff, or they know it's a direct run by the quarterback. I don't want that. I think if you want to develop J.J. this year, you got to have him play whole halves. You got to say, you know what, Indiana sucks this year. JJ, you're in the whole half. Or against Michigan State, hey, man, we need you every other 6 plays. So I think that's the thing. Is he willing to do that this year with J.J. McCarthy and Cade McNamara? That's the question I want to know.
Isn't this Michiganitis? Really?
It is.
Go back to Lloyd.
And Lloyd did the same thing, right?
Same thing.
But he played those guys like they played a half. It was set. Hey, you first quarter, I'm second quarter. You play half, I play half. I don't agree with it, but at least they had more of a chance to see where everybody saw Tom Brady was better.
And I went back to this, and I'll explain next. I want to get back on time. Let's stick with this a little bit longer. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. End of hour number 1. We're talking Michigan football, having a lot of fun. It's June. It's the end of June in the summertime.
We got Michigan fans itis here, too.
We love it.
We're going to talk about that.
Hey, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. Definitely awesome to get off the air, or even before we get on the air, and get a precision haircut from a talented stylist. Over 100 locations nationwide, many of them locally here in the Metro Detroit area. All you got to do, walk in, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit.
But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Trader.com is the #1 site for your game day bets. Play-by-play updates, live scores, the best price on every game from multiple sports books. Go to OddsTrader.com right now so you can place the best bet at the best site, OddsTrader.com.
I just got a text from Abby.
Okay.
I love these kids.
Really? Oh, my God.
I love these kids.
Looks like we got to put this as a permanent
I don't know
deal,
what to tell you.
I love it.
That's it. 4 words.
Abby's going to be around for a while. We love Abby. That's so good. Well, Lydia's just a sweetheart.
Lydia and Lukey.
And Luke's the ringleader.
There you go.
I love it, man. Like we're intertwining the family, man. That's how you stay together a long time.
Hey, so Braylon, you were talking about Jim Harbaugh, and you've seen it before, right? You've seen where Jim Harbaugh has chosen loyalty over who's the better player, and it seems like we only talk about that at the quarterback position. Now, maybe that's fair or unfair because we're not talking about the right tackle competition as much as the quarterback, so we really don't know that. But it always feels like, whether it's Jim Harbaugh or insert college coach or high school coach or pro coach here, sometimes it's loyalty over talent with the kid that plays. And I went back because remember last week, Stick got himself in the line of fire with Michigan fans saying, well, of course, now you
lobbed on the Brady.
Yeah, you what do they say? You claim Tom Brady.
Yeah, you claim
it's
Tom
so great.
Brady.
I love it.
He
Good
hardly
for
played.
Stick. Good for Stick. But I went back the first 7 games of the season. Brady played the first quarter. Henson played the entire second quarter, and then whoever was hotter played the second half. And they did that through the Michigan State game, and then Brady took over the rest of the way. I don't know if that works, man, because chances are you're going to get burned by a game or two like Michigan did that season, specifically at Michigan State. So you're always going to lose a game based on that decision because you're not playing the best guy. And 2, And I'll give you the floor on this because you brought it up and you are lockstep in it. It creates what?
Factions.
Yep. Factions.
It creates factions. Even before we start talking about factions, which I'm going to see AEW tonight. Talking about
AEW.
factions. With my boy
AEW.
D-Mac. AEW.
Oh,
you guys getting in the ring
guys.
against AJ Styles?
I might jump up there, man. No, it'd be Chris Jericho, and Kenny Omega. But just going back and viewing it that way, and that is a recipe for disaster sometimes, because how many times have you seen a guy that's a player, that's a bona fide number one starter, and he's just having a bad first quarter. He's just having a bad second quarter. Like it takes him a second to heat up, and then it's the comeback. Like that's what sport is about sometimes. And when you're playing around, hey, you do a quarter, I do a quarter, and whoever hotter. And sometimes like things happen to get you hot. Sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes it's the play. Sometimes the defense is necessarily right on point. But what it does create is factions. I remember my senior year, I came back to play with Matt Gutierrez. Matt Gutierrez out of Warren De La Salle, out in California, the undefeated high school. They got movies on them, etc. Emoni Toomer went there as well. And Maurice Jones-Drew was his running back on that team. I came back my senior year, not only because I thought I could get a little bit better, maybe a lot bit better, but also because I knew I had this quarterback in Matt Gutierrez. I trusted him. I've seen him for 3 years. I've been there with him for 3 years. I've watched him. I'm ready. Chad Henne was a 5-star recruit. Chad Henne comes there as well. So in training camp, I mean, Steve Breston's a PA guy. So you got Steve who's liking catching passes from Chad Henne. You got some guys going over there, the younger guys, Carl Tapp. You got me and Calvin Bell. Like I'm over here with Matt Gutierrez.
I love that team.
I'm over here with Matt Gutierrez.
What happened to Gutierrez? I mean, he was like.
So he transfers to JUCO or a small school out in Montana somewhere. Balls out there, and he actually ended up getting drafted in the 7th round to the Patriots.
For a minute. Yeah.
I think I drafted the 7th round to the Patriots. But going back to that, there were factions. There were half the locker room was talking about Chad Henne, the young phenom out of Pennsylvania. The other half of the locker room was talking about Matt Gutierrez, a.k.a. John B., because he could sing and look like John B. So you're breaking the locker room up, and now I want Matt Gutierrez. I'm the number one wide receiver, but then our defense like Chad Henne. And defense wins championships. Michigan's one of the defensive schools, so it was a lot of arguing going on from the time of June until the time of August. Unfortunately, Goose tore his labrum in the shoulder in training camp, and so he didn't play. I mean, I think it worked out for everybody involved. But you created that locker room separation, and guys like, no, we should have this guy. And then quarterbacks are seeing that. You don't want to put your team in unnecessary adversity. You don't want to put them in a locker room where they're going to have to deal with this. So the factions are a real thing, my friend.
And Chad Henne's still playing in the NFL.
Isn't that something? He's
got him back to the Super Bowl.
Patrick Mahomes back up in Kansas City.
Won a playoff game.
He did last year.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
To get to the Super Bowl.
Beat Baker.
And I believe, and
that's a hell of a story.
This isn't my forte, but doesn't Cade have this year and next year available for?
Come again?
Doesn't Cade have 2 more years of eligibility?
He does, because I think he does.
He's got the COVID year.
So if you're J.J. McCarthy and Cade plays this year, I mean, you're just out. I mean,
no wonder CJ didn't even sniff it here. No wonder.
And that's a good question. Is what does a year look like for Jim Harbaugh where he picks Cade and
What does
Cade
the next
together?
2 years look like?
What does it look like for J.J. McCarthy? Like, is J.J. McCarthy excited and happy? Because I saw his interview that he did. He's very excited. He's made friends. He's on the journey, trusting the process. He's saying all the right things. What does another year look like if he looks exactly like he did last year? They win the Big Ten. He plays 5, 6, 7 plays a game. Like, what does that look like?
And conversely, what does it look like for Dante Moore? I mean, these kids.
What story are you saying?
These kids want to come play. But again, these kids want to come play. They see Bryce Young. They see C.J. Stroud.
Who wants to come here to hand the ball off? Oh, sorry. Wrong thing.
Oh, you're such a jerk.
Too soon.
You are such a jerk.
Too soon. But that's a real question.
You know, I mean, why would Dante Moore, aside from, you know, if he grew up wanting to go to Michigan or anything like, you know, if Ryan Ermanni was getting recruited, I wouldn't care who was ahead of me.
Yeah.
If I had an opportunity to go to Michigan, that was just, I bled maize and blue. I was going to Michigan. Same with you. But if I was a quarterback and I knew I was going to play for like 2 or 3 years, This ain't 1980.
Not to mention,
you don't wait till your junior or senior year to play anymore.
Not to mention, not only that, but that means that I'm going to be sitting on the bench in November when it's cold. At the end of October when it's cold. December when it's cold. Well, I guess December they play indoors, but that's
it's a good problem to have. Let's say that.
I'd
rather have this problem than not have any quarterbacks.
It's a good problem to have this year, but how long did it take us to get that 5-star quarterback in J.J. McCarthy? How many years were we waiting for Jim to snag one of those 5-star quarterbacks? Now you snag a 5-star quarterback, and guess what? You don't want to play him. You don't want to start him. But here's the other thing, and I will be on Jim's side on this. Sometimes it's not about the talent. And that's why sometimes you stay loyal to a certain individual. Cade McNamara is a guy that can win games. Cade McNamara is probably a leader. I hear it in his voice, especially after that Nebraska win. You saw him in that interview after Nebraska win. The Wisconsin win was another one. You saw him there. Sometimes the intangibles outweigh the talent. So that's another
without
thing they're probably
question.
dealing with.
Can I give you a little maybe reality check?
Sure.
Did you ever think maybe JJ isn't as good as supposedly he is?
So I thought about that, and the answer is no, because I've seen him play.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, Braylon, we've gotten a 5-star kids before. I didn't think Rashawn Gary was any good, to be honest with you, at Michigan. Now, he's a better pro than he was at Michigan, and that could have been scheme, player development.
Two things. You named, you named it. The second thing you said was right. It's player development. The other thing, he didn't like to work. He didn't like to work, and nobody was forcing him to work. So when you don't like to work, nobody's forcing you to work, and they just keep kissing your ass and telling you the man. Meanwhile, he was the third best D lineman on that team. Wormley and Maurice Hurst were better.
And again, we've seen 5-star guys come in. Remember Sam McGuffey? We've seen 5-star guys come and go and not wow us.
Was Sam 5 stars?
I don't know if he was or not, but
he's a YouTube sensation.
He's a YouTube sensation. Fine, but again,
he'd fit in good here.
There have been a number of 4- and 5-star guys that have been heralded players that come to Michigan, and you're like, who's this guy? That has not been the case for J.J. McCarthy. All of us, have seen this kid do things that are unique at Michigan. Guys don't throw the ball 60, 70 yards in the air on a rollout like he did against Western Michigan or whoever that was.
It was Western.
He could take a hit. He can scramble. Cade McNamara, and I love Cade. I hate anytime you're comparing, you feel like you got to knock the other guy down. But how many times did Cade McNamara on an RPO hand that ball off up the middle when you got the entire outside to run for a first down or something like that?
And the defense knew he was going to do it.
It's plays like that just drive you freaking nuts, and it does separate beating Ohio State on the road or losing a close game.
Yeah, and you're right. And just to add to that, I think the big thing that we saw was, do you know how hard it is to not be in the rhythm of the game, to not be in the flow of the game, and then but then the coach grabs you and says, hey, let's run that play we were working on. And then you got to go in the game in a moment, which you've been on the sideline, and you got to find the rhythm and the flow in the span of 45 seconds. And he did that so well every time he was asked. He went in there, dropped a dime, or he made a play, or he took a hit. The only bad play I haven't saw wasn't even his fault because he wasn't supposed to be in the damn game.
Guys, I want to take a break. When we come back, Michigan has made a list. Our friend Big Game Boomer has ranked the top 20 most and least sensitive college fan bases. Where does Michigan and Michigan State rank? We'll have that for you. Plus, who would Michigan's 3 opponents be if they went to a divisionless conference? All that and much more.
Dark horse.
But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
We love the Chili Pepper Tanning,
we do.
folks. Of course we do. Join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You're going to get all the best deals. Plus, they'll beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tannings. They'll beat all competitors. They got the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations, and more on the way. Check them out at chilipepperstanning.com.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups.
Detroit fans were there.
4 World Series wins.
Detroit fans were there.
And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Hey, everybody. It's the big boy.
Elias.
Back. There he
What's up,
is.
Elias?
What up? What up? The buffets are back, of course, at participating big boy locations every weekend from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Make sure you check it out. The one in Grosse Point's got one. Don't forget to try the classics like, of course, the Slim Jim. That's my guys right there, Ryan and Braylon. They love the Slim Jim.
Hell
the Dolly Chicken Sandwich, they dig that too. And, of course, everyone loves the original Big Boy.
Buffet.
Check them all out. For your nearest location, check out bigboy.com.
Big boy.
Big boy.
Hey, welcome back. Ermanni and Edwards, Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network. Like our show if you're watching on YouTube. We're having so much fun talking a little college football.
Yeah, we are. It's almost like the season's around the corner or something.
Hey, this Heisman list we were talking. We're gonna get to Boomer in just one second, but this Heisman list is out. We're talking about
hilarious.
Cade and JJ. There's 50 names on this list for the Heisman Trophy finalists, a watch list.
The early.
Nowhere near as Cade McNamara, the returning Big Ten championship winning quarterback. But his replacement, his backup is on there, J.J. McCarthy at 42.
Imagine bringing Michigan his first Big Ten championship in 20 years. Well, 18. Was it 18? Yeah, in 18 years. What was last year? 2021, 04, 17 years, excuse me, 18 calendar. 18 calendar years. You bring them a Big Ten championship. You're excited. You're coming back. You're only a junior. And you look at the way too early Heisman list. Not only are you not on there, your replacement is 42.
Blake Corum, by the way, number 16 on this list. There is not one player from Michigan State University listed in this top 50.
No Peyton Thorne?
No Peyton Thorne on this top 50.
I actually like Peyton Thorne.
I will say this. I think you can go ahead and give the Heisman Trophy
CJ.
To Jackson Smith and Jigba next year. That guy is going to rack up yards and touchdowns unlike anything we have ever seen in big-time college football. That's my guess.
Reason why that won't happen is because he doesn't return punts. He doesn't return kicks. And I know you can look at me and say, oh, Devontae Smith won the Heisman. He didn't return punts. He returned a couple. But then if you look at this quarterback at the time, Mac Jones was okay. C.J. Stroud is a walking stat machine.
Unless Will Anderson wins.
The only thing about the Michigan game versus Ohio State last year that I looked at and was like, oh, man, C.J. Stroud still balled. C.J. still, now granted, his receivers made some hell of a catches, Jackson Smith included. C.J. almost had 400 yards against Michigan, and Michigan's defensive line was dominant that day. C.J. Stroud's probably going to win it. I got a dark horse in Caleb Williams out of USC. You pay a guy $3.5 million to play wideout that's already won the Biletnikoff.
Right.
Welcome to the club. $3.5 to come out there. Lincoln Riley knows what he's going to do. It's going to be a little bit easier out there than it was in the Big 12. But dark horse, watch out for Tulia Tagovailoa, man.
Ooh.
I'm telling you.
Maryland?
Hey, 3,800 yards last year, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Where's he on this list?
He's 40. He's 38.
38.
He's 38.
Yep. He's in Cade territory. JJ territory.
7 games last year, over 300 yards. One of them was over 400.
What about Keaton Slovis, the old USC quarterback going to Pitt?
Don't dismiss my pick. I saw what you did there.
Okay, very good. Very good.
His brother's gonna win. His brother's gonna win comeback player. Most improved. He'll win Heisman.
Our good friend Big Game Boomer, who we had on last week, came out with a list of the top 20 most and least sensitive college fan bases. Oh, how dare you, Boomer!
Screwed us again.
How dare you, Boomer! Number 7.
Johnny Whitaker did it again to us.
Michigan is the 7th most sensitive college fan base. Arkansas, Texas, Florida, Kentucky. How'd Kentucky get on the list, by the way? Oklahoma, Tennessee, and then
Because they got basketball.
Michigan.
Because they got great basketball.
Wisconsin, the number 1 least sensitive fan base. How about that?
I think I agree.
It's a bunch of baloney.
No, BS. I think I agree. It could be higher. Michigan could be higher up that list. Michigan's and I went to Michigan, so did you. Very sensitive fan base. They're one of those fan bases, you crack a joke on them, they go back to 1942 to get the feelings hurt. You know I'm laughing. Or what they do is they smash you with their wallet. You crack a joke about Michigan, we'll be like, hey, well, you know Stephen Ross. Well, you know Fred Wilpon. Well, you know this. Well, you know we got the second most billionaires. We go to places because we are sensitive when it comes to Michigan. So Michigan on this list of 7 definitely could be high.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you this right now.
Here comes some sensitivity right now.
Give me a 1 shot.
Yep.
Please.
Yep, sensitivity.
Calling for the 1 shot. Michigan State is not on this list.
Yeah.
There is no more sensitive, soft fan base than the Michigan State Spartan fan base. Soft as hell, Michigan State, their fan base.
But they're only
How
sensitive.
are they not on this list?
Tuck coming.
How is Aiden Hutchinson at the Heisman?
Hey,
our guy
hold on.
is
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
There? Yes, Braylon.
Now, because Michigan State definitely is sensitive, but
Kenneth Walker, 5 touchdowns.
But it's only about Michigan. Michigan's sensitive about everybody. Like, is that fair to say? Michigan State is sensitive about Michigan. Nobody else.
I'm not sensitive about anybody.
BS.
I don't have a sensitive bone in my body.
Okay.
How is Michigan State not on this list?
I'm just asking.
Softies.
Could it be because it's only related to Michigan?
Well, of course, it's related to some. Everybody's got something they're sensitive about, and Michigan State is the king. They are.
Right.
They need to have like the chosen one, like LeBron, tattooed on his back as the king of sensitivity.
Well, then maybe the Michigan and Michigan State rivalry just isn't as big nationally as we think it is.
Look, if Michigan's at number 7, there should be a slash next to them.
Michigan State.
And an S should be next to them. They should be next to each other. All right, Michigan can't stand there at 7 without the Spartan
Holding
S
their hand.
next to them. They can't.
I like that.
They can't stand
I like
alone without Sparty next to them. It's impossible.
Oregon's very sensitive as well. I like Oregon at 8. I got a friend that went to Oregon, and he does the same thing we do. You're like, every time you try to have a conversation with him, well, before we won last year, when the last time you guys won Big Ten? Like,
I'm sure Texas is up there because they probably whine about who? Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. No, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma's up there.
I mean,
they probably whine about Texas.
How about this, too? 5 Big Ten teams on the least sensitive. Wouldn't you want to be on the most sensitive list, though, by the way?
Why is Wisconsin the least sensitive?
Wisconsin, Illinois, Nebraska, Minnesota, Purdue. Doesn't that signify that you kind of care and it matters to you what happens with your team and the coverage that you get or the accolades that you get? Or you think you should be leading Sports Center, or you think your guy didn't get the top play on the top 10 or whatever, if they still do that. Don't you want a fan base that cares? I feel like if you're on this side of the list, you don't care.
But you know what else though is Wisconsin is basically Michigan, but they're not in the public eye as much. They don't win quite as many games. They don't win quite as many as other sports, but they're right there, and that's why they're least sensitive because they're not in the public eye to care as much.
If you go to Wisconsin, they have jump around, right? One of the best game day songs,
in-game experience.
In-game experience. Now go to Va-Tech. They've got
Enter the Sandman.
They've got Enter Sandman. Who else? Alabama?
No, it's Arkansas.
Wait, Alabama's least sensitive?
Least sensitive, 18th.
What?
On the top
That's because
20.
they win all the time.
Right.
Guess.
Well, that's why. See that I thought that about Ohio State. What do they have to be sensitive
Michigan?
about? Yeah, no, but what does Ohio State have to? They just beat everybody's ass every week.
Good point.
What do they have to be sensitive about?
It's Ohio. Ohio's always sensitive. State of Ohio.
Florida
sensitive.
State sensitive, and Florida. And Miami, the 3 Florida schools on the most sensitive.
You know what you notice a pattern in the most sensitive, with the exception of Georgia? It's the teams that are expected to do more than they usually do. Like if you look at Oregon, they get close. They never seal the deal. Miami is a you know what. Florida has been letting people down the last 10, 12 years. Iowa gets close. They don't finish the deal.
NC State's there. I could see the Wolfpack there.
They don't finish
with
the deal.
Clemson.
How many times have you seen South Carolina? Oh, this is the year. This is the year. And then this is the year they go 6-6.
Faye's Food, MSU fans are so soft.
Now, soft and sensitive, 2 different things.
Mark Speed, good point, Ryan. And then our buddy YT Sparty. Look at Ermanni. Proof of whiny, sensitive U of M fans. Our intern Owen is on the list. I think the fact that Fox, ESPN, and Barstool all came to East Lansing this year, I think nationally the rivalry is definitely recognized.
Well, last year they were both undefeated. Yeah. Last year they were both undefeated, so they didn't have any choice.
It's so good. I love it.
These lists are very fun.
They are.
They are because they lead to arguments.
They lead to it.
Oh
Absolutely.
my God, that is so funny.
Speaking of lists,
we got a lot of lists we got to get to. Oh, you want to do the movie one?
Why not?
Let's do it.
Do the movie one. Let's do it. Maz has had it on it for like 3 weeks.
I know. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We'll do a list of the best football movies out there. How about it? It's
Let's do
June. It's June 29th, ladies and gentlemen. What's the best football movie of all time? Hard-hitting stuff here,
Gone
Woodward
fishing.
Sports Network. But first, a message from Cintron.
The summer of hard-hitting stuff is
I
here.
could use
And
one.
Cintron is here
I could
as
use
well.
a gypsy.
Right now at select Kroger locations, talking about Cintron, the energy drink, it is here 2 for $4. I'm talking about usually $3.50 a can. It's 2 for $4. Why not? They partner up with the Pistons, the Wings, and the Tigers. Don't hold that last one against us. Go to CintronWorld.com. Find out which select Krogers these are. Go grab yourself some Cintron because they want to be a part of the memories. So you should let them. Cintron, drink it and live it.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show.
Spend middays with Big D Energy.
Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line.
And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily.
All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Woodward Sports Network, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, happy to have you along with us.
Yes, sir.
And happy to be part of your day, no matter how you're watching or listening. We certainly appreciate it. A beautiful day out there as well.
Yeah. Not as high as they said it was going to be. So it's like
83, so it's perfect. Then we're going to get into the 90s now beginning tomorrow. I'm not a fan of those 90s. I don't know about you, Bray.
I don't like shorts. I'm just not I'm a jean guy.
Yeah.
And when it gets that hot, you can't wear jeans because, it's uncomfortable.
Stick to your legs.
Yeah, there you go. Something does.
Hey, we're talking about the best football movies ever made. Can we put up the list here? Because there's a number of movies on here. American Underdog, Rudy, Remember the Titans, Friday Night Lights, The Longest Yard, The Game Plan, Draft Day, Varsity Blues, Any Given Sunday. And then there's an other on there.
There's a lot of movies not on here, but
there are a lot of movies on
I
here.
threw some others on there.
Yeah.
On the sheet.
Well, I don't. Let's see. On the sheet. So you've got.
I threw The Blind Side.
The Blind Side is a really good
movie.
Blind Side is
Blind Side's a football movie. Absolutely.
It's a life movie.
Well, sure, but so is Remember the Titans.
Yeah, but I saw a lot of football in Remember the Titans. How much football do you see in Blind Side?
You know what movie's not on here that I considered?
The Program.
The Program.
So
when I was in high school, we watched The Program every Friday night because we played Saturdays at that time. Every Friday night before the Saturday game. We love The Program.
So looking at this, I'll just jump out there and get it going. Like, you want me to rock and roll? We watch The Program as well. I think there are tiers to it. As a person that played at high school, college, as well as the NFL, I think Friday Night Lights captures high school amazingly. I think it does an amazing job capturing high school, from the families to the pressure to situations to, if you want to talk about Texas football, where actually the school permit is actually where Roy Williams.
That's why
he was actually
movie.
coaching against them in the movie. He's coaching at Odessa. But it encompasses everything. The coaches, the pressure that these coaches are under, like school, balancing school, it really encompasses everything. Now you go to the next level. Oh man, you just named it. The program. The program nails it, especially how college football was. The state of college football in 93, 94, 95, the early 90s. Like, it kills it all the way through, man, from the illegal things, investigations, to players, to steroids, to, the how you recruit players, how you get players, being on probation. Does it all. And the boosters talks about that, too. It lets you know what's important to schools. And then you get to the NFL level, and there's no better movie than Any Given Sunday. Like, Oliver Stone captures it greatly as it relates to how many fights, how many factions did you see in that game? Was it Cap Rooney or was it Willie Beeman?
Willie Beeman.
You saw factions in that game. So I think those are the three in terms of tiers. Now, the best one is Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans is my favorite football movie.
C.J. Schneider said, don't forget about We Are Marshall.
I was going to read that one because I think, look, if you had, I'm not going to pick one.
Right.
I'm not going to pick one.
You're not going to pick a couple that you like?
I'm going to pick three. In no particular order.
Okay.
Remember the Titans, We Are Marshall, and Rudy.
You're a sucker for sad movies.
Well, look, they're all just so
sensitive.
Incredibly, excuse me.
Sensitive.
They're just beautiful films that really tell a story about an underdog, about perseverance in death, about coming together.
Yeah.
I mean, what three better movies? And this is what I always say about football, and we always do these topics. Shouldn't you let your kid play football?
Yeah.
It's so dangerous.
It's about the life lessons.
Man, those three movies tell better life lessons, stories about life lessons than any other life lesson possible. These films about working hard and persevering, about coming together,
boo,
about death, and
boo.
What?
Boo. Like,
what do you mean, boo?
When I watch a football movie, I want to watch a football movie that deals with football. By the way, they have life as well. Like, how many games do you see at Any Given Sunday? They play 8 games at Any Given Sunday, and they also deal with stuff on the field, off the field, medical, Shark LeVay, Clear Me. I just want to play.
They played a whole season in We Are Marshall.
Then watch North Dallas 40.
They were 0 for what? I love North Dallas 40. Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
Like, you and I talked about
Matt Davis.
I don't have those movies are great, except We Are Marshall. I think it's okay. But I'm a guy. Give me some substance like that. Give me a little emotion. Give me some life lessons. But also give me some football. That's why I'm watching the movie.
How about Jerry Maguire? Does that count?
Jerry Maguire's a football movie.
They had one montage and they showed one game. No, it doesn't count.
Okay.
It's a football movie though.
How about Draft Day?
Draft Day's on here.
I know. What do you think?
Good movie.
Draft Day.
I mean, it's a bad. It's
little
a bad,
hulky for me.
Yeah, but it was kind of cool.
Good movie.
It's cool because I love Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
It sucked because it was the Browns, so it was a little too close to home for me. But then it also doesn't really deal with the football field. It deals with the war room.
Gotcha.
Which is another element of football.
Gotcha.
But if I want to watch a movie, I want to see somebody getting jiggy on the football field.
Well,
that's why I love watching Friday Night Lights.
I'm gonna give you mine.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's old, of course.
Oh, okay. Everybody's All-American?
No, it's The Longest Yard.
Oh, the original.
It's Burt
I
Reynolds.
thought you were going to say Paper Lion.
It's Burt Reynolds. Not that old. It's the guards.
Paper Lions in black and white.
It's the guards against the crew,
Yeah,
against the guys, man.
It's Miami against Notre Dame.
It is. It's the convicts against the Catholics. I mean, those SOBs, and you had some football players in that movie.
You did.
Playing in that movie. It was phenomenal.
Necessary Roughness gets slept on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Necessary Roughness gets slept on. You got Paul.
Somebody just mentioned Necessary Roughness. Mario Henley just mentioned.
Mario.
You
that guy,
Necessary.
man.
Oh, so Doughboy Steve too.
Oh, you got Scott Bakula playing quarterback.
D. Smitty says Ballers on HBO, but that's not a movie. That's a show. Right?
Look at YT Sparty always crapping on me.
Oh, man. Not just you.
Saying North Dallas 40 was awful. What's wrong with you?
Wildcats.
Sparty.
Wildcats.
Oh, my God.
Wildcats.
It's the sport of kings.
Young Wesley Snipes.
Better than diamond rings.
Yo, Goldie Hawn was great
your
in that
mic is
movie.
off
What do you
again.
mean my mic is off?
It is.
What do you mean?
Goldie Hawn was amazing in Wildcats, man. Like how good was she as a coach?
She's hot. I don't know what to tell you.
Remember the Titans was that
There
one,
you
man.
go.
I still could do the quote, man.
Okay, now do you want me to sing?
Yeah.
It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. Football. Remember that song?
No.
UGLY and you ain't got no alibi. You ugly. What? You ugly. Your mama says you ugly.
Your mama.
Come on, these kids don't know what good movies are.
They don't, man. They don't. I feel like it's some more football movies we're missing, man.
I dig Rudy, though. I'll always watch Rudy.
So now
if it's on, I'm watching
Rudy
it.
gets into Notre Dame, he's sitting on that bench. Oh, forget it.
You ready for this? So my stepfather is in love with Rudy. My mom's watching right now, so she's going to know I'm not lying about this. He loves some Rudy, but he loves one particular part in Rudy. It's when Rock or Charles S. Dutton in the tunnel. And Rudy's just trying to play. He's begging. He wants to play. And he's like, look, kid, you're 5'0", 100 and nothing. You ain't going to make the team. Why do you stay? And then Rudy's like, I'm going to play. I don't care what you or anybody else says. And, it's a whole moment. But my dad loves that part. He laughs every time. I say, why would you laugh at Rudy?
Okay.
You're 5'0".
Can I add to that?
Please do.
Because one of my favorite parts about that movie, too, is when
at
Rock
the end?
At the end, when he's standing in the tunnel and he makes a sack and he goes,
Yeah.
I mean, come on!
How about Ned Beatty ready to
What a love story!
Ned Beatty's crying in the audience.
What a love story!
He's crying in the stands.
It's a
His
great-
father.
I never said it wasn't a great movie. Just, I was saying, just football. And it was,
Oh, man. Ned Beatty walking by right now.
There he is.
That's Michael Moore. But
Making fun of the fat guy always.
nobody's talking about you.
No, it's talking about you, man.
No, but going back to
Bunch of haters.
Rudy, don't you hate when you go back to see a moment and you see that the moment wasn't how the movie did it? Like, I went back to that play. Like, you see, he had a whole sack and just something like that. That didn't happen like that. It's like Vince Papali with Invincible. There's another football movie. Where they had Mark Wahlberg block the kick and get the ball and run it back 70 yards. Well, in real story, it was a 6-yard return.
You know why? You know what that is?
You gotta tell the story.
That's when the movie says based
on a true story.
Same with American Underdog.
This is a true story.
Same with Kurt Warner's movie. I enjoyed it.
Right.
It was hokey as hell.
Yeah.
And the football pads and stuff looked crappy, but it was fun.
Those are two explanations on why I won't watch that movie. You led with it was hokey, and then it was like the equipment looked a little off. See, I'm out already. I'm out. If this was Shark Tank, I'm out.
I'm out. Great show, by the way.
Be a hater.
Which running back will have the best comeback season this year?
What is blowing it out? It's a blowout.
It is a blowout.
Barry Sanders on the list.
Right. It'd be nice. But first message from Guardian Alarm. Your local security experts have been for over 90 years. Guardian Alarm, they give you peace of mind whether you're home or on the road. They're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you is safe. Call this number right now, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call that number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We'll be right back.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward.
All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports.
Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. A little bit of breaking news here, Tom.
Yes, as for John Rothstein, Memphis transfer, Emoni Bates. He's going to Eastern Michigan, folks.
Oh, Eastern Michigan.
As
EMU.
per his IG page.
That's got to be the
Instagram.
biggest recruit they've ever gotten in the history of Eastern Michigan's program.
Congratulations, Eagles.
Since John Zajac in the late 90s.
Wow, you took it there. Zajac.
Johnny Zajac.
Johnny Z?
Of the state champion Lakeshore Shoreans.
The Shores.
Yeah. He played with Travis Conlon over there.
Ooh, number 10.
Yeah, baby.
T. Conlon.
T. Conlon went to Michigan. Zajac went to Eastern.
This move makes sense. And you've seen this throughout the history of like individuals leaving Detroit as star players, star numbers, and then coming back. And when you come back, you don't leave and then come back to Michigan State and then come back to Michigan because you burnt that bridge. Michigan State Tom Izzo, he literally was in Emoni Bates' living room every day. He was trying to get Emoni Bates there. He was offering him the keys to the city, and he didn't take it. So now Tom's not going to reward him by letting him come back. Same with Juwan Howard. You see it happen. It happened with Brandon Cotton. When I was in school, Brandon Cotton's class of 03, DePores, best player in the state, number 1 player in the state. He chose to go to Michigan State. Didn't fit his game plan. Now, I know that's not out of state, but he went up to East Lansing, didn't fit his game plan. He wanted to be close to Detroit. Well, he transfers and goes back to UAD. Yep. My cousin, Brandon Kearney, goes to Arizona State. Doesn't work out there. What does he do? He comes back. He goes to UAD. When it doesn't work, a lot of times we just instantly think, oh, man, now we can get Emoni Bates at Michigan. Michigan doesn't want him anymore. Michigan has a plan already, and the plan doesn't include Emoni Bates. Same thing with Michigan State. So what do? You're far away from home. You're homesick. You no longer want to be in Memphis. You no longer want to be in Arizona. You never want to be in Oregon. Well, I'll go home and play close to home. Eastern's close to home. That's what happens a lot of time with guys. And for some reason, especially from Detroit or the metropolitan area, when guys don't have success in that first year, when they transfer, they come back home, they go to UAD Mercy. I can't tell you how many times I talked to Perry White about this very thing. So UAD, Eastern, close to home, but they're still Division I schools.
And you know what? I think this is a good move for him just to really kind of find his center, too, a little bit. And I hope nothing but the best for him because, you get bad advice along the way and, your eyes get big. It shouldn't be a life sentence for making a bad decision like, going to the school and having it not work out. Come back, go to Eastern, do your year, and then go to the NBA. Hopefully you develop there.
Or transfer portal.
Or transfer portal. Now the G League, too, is a nice avenue for these kids.
Didn't they say they had some money for him?
Well, they had some money for Spencer Rattler.
Well, maybe they got some money for him.
Perhaps, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Caleb Houston this past season. Caleb Houston gets drafted 32nd. You look at Max Christian and you look at Moussa Diabate, who got drafted 45th. You can't tell me that Moussa Diabate and Caleb Houston were that much better than Emoni Bates this past season.
Not a chance.
So with that said, you get a year under your belt. You get your swagger back, as they say, Old Spice swagger. Get that swagger back, and then maybe you enter the transfer portal, and then you go to a bigger school, and then you figure it out after 3 years.
Hey, just a sidebar before we move on.
Yeah.
Mets and Astros 0-0 through 8. Justin Verlander 8 scoreless, 6 strikeouts. I mean,
sick.
He's just
sick.
Do you want to face the Astros?
I told you, Maz. What did I say the other day?
The Yankees don't want to see him.
They don't want to see
Guess what?
them.
The Mets don't want to see him either.
In a 4-game series against the Yankees last weekend, it took a walk-off on Thursday and a walk-off on Sunday to beat the Astros.
Yeah.
How many? And they ended up splitting that series in a 4-game series. But how often can that be the case where you're banking on walk-off homers?
Not to mention.
Can you imagine if you just kept this guy?
Not to mention 2 to 3 of their best players. You talking about the doggone Astros. 2 or 3 of their best players left in free agency this year, and they're still that good.
Can you imagine?
They lost Springer. They lost obviously Carlos Correa. They lost to damn GM.
Is Yuli Gurriel still there?
Yeah,
he is still there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we just kept this guy?
Yeah.
Just kept him.
Who, Isak Paredes? No, I'm joking. Piss mass off.
He's amazing.
He's a maniac. He's a maniac.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to do this if we could. Which running back will have the best comeback season? There's a lot of running backs, too, that I think you're looking at, but the two squarely.
Is DeAndre Swift on this list?
No, he's not, but he should be. He could be. Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley are the two that I look at. And honestly, I think you could put Ezekiel Elliott on that list as well. Zeke, I don't want to say he's done, but it just goes to show you how difficult it is to have an elongated career in the NFL. And guys like Adrian Peterson don't come around anymore. Guys like Frank Gore.
Oh, man. Nobody's like Frank Gore.
They're unicorns, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen anymore.
Especially in this league. You saw how fast Todd Gurley was in and then out. You saw how fast Le'Veon Bell was in and then out. Flex, wake up over there, buddy. So with that being said, Saquon Barkley, so before I get on this list, to yours, what you said about Ezekiel Elliott, I don't think you put Ezekiel Elliott on this list because I think Ezekiel Elliott, people are looking at, is already past that moment. I think when you look at this list, Saquon Barkley's on year 3 coming up. So you think he's still young. J.K. Dobbins, this would be year 2.
Young man.
This would be his 3rd year, but this would be the 2nd year he actually plays because he tore his ACL before the season. And the same with James Robinson, Christian McCaffrey. I think this is year 5 for him. So this is a relatively young list. With Ezekiel, you're like, oh man, you know what? He's already over that list. So now looking at this list, Christian McCaffrey will never be the Christian McCaffrey that we know that we once saw, that we hoped he could be. Like I think that's done. Now I think he could have some success, but I don't think he's coming back to any type of Pro Bowl form. I think he'll be a guy to be a good player, but he won't be a Pro Bowl guy. He'll be a guy like, it's got to come to me. It was a good one. It'll come back to me. Saquon's the guy on this list. J.K. Dobbins is too. J.K. Dobbins is a guy that was very good at Ohio State. He's a guy that can hit the home run. He's a guy that hit the home run. He's a guy that breaks tackles as well. Reads, has great vision. And then you look at the money that the Baltimore Ravens have spent on the offensive line. Like every time you look up, they're adding another lineman, whether it's in the draft, whether it's in free agency. They're paying the house. They got the 3rd best left tackle in the game. They're always upping. You know why? Because they got to protect Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson will help J.K. Dobbins have success. And then I still believe in Saquon Barkley. I know, Mads, I know you might be out on him. I just believe in him. The stuff that I watched him do at Penn State, you watched him his first year. I mean, shoot, he was almost 2,000 yards from scrimmage his rookie year with the New York Giants. I think Saquon's number 1 on this list. J.K. Dobbins, I have at number 2.
I don't believe in Saquon anymore. I want to. He's an Adonis. Have you seen what he looks like?
Quadzilla.
He's an amazing athlete. I don't believe in his knees, in his ankles. He's got everything around those joints, but he can't. Those things, I don't know if they're going to work in the long run. He's an amazing athlete. Ezekiel Elliott, I think he's finished. I don't see anything. I don't see that burst that he used to have. I remember on Thanksgiving Day when he jumped in that Salvation Army basket.
Yeah.
You remember that? I mean, I don't see that.
Got injured on that, too.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
He tweaked something, yeah.
He might have. Who's his backup that they love?
Pollard. Tony Pollard.
They said they're going to go to Tony Pollard a lot this year. So I don't see him. Christian McCaffrey, what's he, 26? 26 years old. He's still a young man.
Later this year.
But 2-3 years in a row? I got to go with Dobbins. I'm with you on this.
My bad.
No, I was just going to say with Ezekiel Elliott, he had 1,000 yards last year, but over the course of a 17-game regular season, that's nothing. That's 58 yards a game.
And he looked bad.
And he rushed for over 200. He rushed for over 100 yards twice.
But he missed last year. He missed 7 games.
No, he played last year. He played last year.
He missed some games.
He played every game.
I'm
looking at his game log right now.
Wow.
He played every game, and he had over 100 yards twice and finished with 1,002 yards. That's, over the course of a 17-game season, that's 58 yards a game.
Going back to
a lot of money for Ezekiel Elliott for 58 yards a game.
Yeah, you're not lying about that. Going back to Christian McCaffrey and just, asking the question, he wasn't a big running back out of Stanford. Smaller guy. He has the guns. I mean, he gets that from Ed. Everybody saw Ed's guns in Denver, but his father, Ed McCaffrey. But wasn't a big guy. Put on a lot of weight. Like, put on a lot of weight trying to beef up for the NFL and trying to add speed to some of the, and with muscle and size, so that he can take some of those hits, so that he can be an every down running back. And ever since he's been doing that, he's been nicked up every year. When you put on weight that your body's not supposed to have, like, yeah, he looks damn good because he's still young, but his body may not be able to carry the weight that he's putting on it every year, bulking up, getting swole. He just may not have that weight. He may need to play at a lower weight.
Look at Swift. Yeah. He's a beast right now.
Look at Ezekiel Elliott last year. He did the same thing. Now he ends up hurting his ankle, but because of a bad tackle. But last year Zeke came in.
Maybe
20
these guys
pounds
are too
lighter.
big. Maybe Saquon. These guys. Maybe they're too big.
The workout warriors.
Look at
man.
Barry. Barry's a little guy.
Yeah.
Workout warriers.
Emmitt Smith. He wasn't huge.
Neither was Thurman Thomas. Neither was Frank Gore.
All that jerking and squatting and pause.
Uh-oh. There goes the guys in the back.
All that.
There goes the guys in the back.
Well, you know what? We're here now. All that extra working out. You know what? I can't take you guys anywhere.
There we go.
I can't take you guys anywhere.
And here we go.
I can't take
Braylon with all that jerking around. Guys, we're going to take a break. We'll regroup. Matt's videos of the day. But first, Braylon has to regroup now with Gypsy Vodka.
I tell you what, I wish I had a mulligan on that comment. But you know what? I do have a mulligan on the golf course because Gypsy Vodka has introduced the mulligan. 8% seltzer, and trust me, that 8% is definitely 8%, so you want to be careful on that drink. But, man, Adam and Mike got it right with this. Patowski's own. Support Michigan distillers, man. Iced tea, lemonade, vodka, and mango. Can't tell me it's not a good combination. Get on the golf course and drink it, or you know what? You can chill in the backyard, have one, chill with the family, and do it all. It's Gypsy, the mulligan.
Hi, I'm Cade Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
All summer long, the Monroe Street Midway is open in downtown Detroit. Enjoy basketball, roller skating, mini golf, art, live music, food trucks, and more. A fun, safe event for everyone between the ages of 1 and 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com for more info. That is deckedoutdetroit.com.
Got another football movie for you.
Yeah?
Man, my young uncle or older brother, whichever you want to call him, Ray, that works over here at Cicchini's.
Oh, yeah, Cicchini's.
Oh, Cicchini's.
He came
Shout
in,
out.
supported for Christmas, clothed. He said, Brian's song.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
and I know this is a movie you love because we talked
What,
about
do you want me to cry right now?
That's what I'm saying. All these movies, that's the one thing about they make you cry. Let's start watching some hockey movies, man.
Hey,
wait a minute. I gotta go to my Twitter because someone wrote me on Twitter.
Go ahead.
Another movie.
Okay. Hey,
you guys talk.
Okay, here's one.
yeah,
Just
wait.
quickly, we have ESPN on in the studio
Darius
right now.
Houston said Varsity Blues.
Oh, Varsity
That
Blues.
was on the list.
So
Okay.
we have ESPN on in the studio right now, and whoever the host is, George Sedano. Well, it's George Sedano and
Matt
Barnes.
Barnes.
They're going through the top 5 favorites for next season.
Number 2.
Number 1 is the Golden State Warriors. Number 2,
The Clips.
the LA Clippers.
Where are the
baby.
Celtics?
Celtics are 3.
There you go. That's
Celtics
Mike.
are 4.
Celtics are 4.
The Bucks are 3.
Yeah.
And with the Bucks, it's hard to bet against Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, you look at it this year.
Best player in basketball.
It is. He is. Because your favorite thing to say is the best ability is availability, and Giannis is there every night. So I would agree with you on that.
Every damn night.
If Chris Middleton plays this year, a different team is hosting up that trophy.
I agree.
So you got to
Or at least in the finals.
They would have won.
Yeah, sure, but at least they would have been in the fight. They would have beat Boston for sure.
Very true. They would have exposed Draymond Green a little bit more, I think, than the Celtics did. 'Cause they got a real point guard.
Time of the day. We like to play
Maz's videos of the day.
And now it's time for Maz's videos of the day, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
All right. It's hard for me to let hockey go, so I wanted to show you the Avs still partying with the cup. Check them out. All right. They're having a good time in Colorado. Last one for the hockey season. Go ahead, buddy.
About that. I'm tired of seeing other teams host trophies. Hoist trophies.
Same.
I'm so sick and tired of seeing it. That's why I'm excited for what this journal. I know it's going to be a minute, but at least it feels like we're moving in the right direction. And the last thing is, when did guys start getting so drunk at the rallies? Like that, because it's great.
Every time there's just more cameras now.
Yeah.
I agree, but like it's to a whole nother level. I think J.R. Smith started it. J.R. Smith, when he took his shirt off, when he was Henny thing.
You should have seen some of those Red Wings back in the early 2000s.
Well, yeah.
The beer is on me.
That's it.
That was
Thank
Kwame.
you, Kwame.
Yep.
Thank you, Kwame. Hey, Gabriel Landeskog, the captain of the Avalanche, his little girl even drank out of the cup. Check it out. Aw, what a little sweetie.
You know that's the best drink she's ever had. You know why? It's because when you're young, things that seem like they're bad that you're allowed to do, it's the best ever.
Absolutely.
She doesn't even know what she's drinking. She's like, this is the best thing ever.
Right. I love it.
Ice cold out of that Stanley Cup. All right, let's take you to a little football here. Now, Grace Harbaugh, you know who her dad is.
Oh, yeah,
Jim
I love
Harbaugh.
this.
They were on their way to vacation. She did a little TikTok
Vacation.
on her dad. Check it out.
If my kid ever did this to me.
Keep it going. There's more to it.
No, we can't.
I don't think so.
Yeah, there's more to it.
They're out of the country.
They're out of the country. He's checking everything. He's just laying down. He's checking
on the dirty floor.
He's checking the passports. Obviously, they were delayed.
Right, 11 hours.
Laying down. Now they finally made their destination. Now he's chilling out with his dad sitting next to him. Here's part 2.
In the music, the moment you own it, it better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music, the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Jack.
There they are. Yes, he was singing Eminem. Lose yourself.
That's the difference between USC and Michigan. Because Lincoln Riley would have been at the airport laying on the ground.
He would not. He would already
Step
been.
it up, Michigan. Get this man a jet.
You believe that? That's something.
Yeah.
That is something.
Wouldn't have been Lincoln Riley.
You hit the nail on the head. My
Or
last
Brian
one.
Kelly.
Last one for today is: you ever go to a basketball court and run into an old guy that thinks he could still ball?
Yeah.
Here, check out Grandpa.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Ah! Hell no! Hell no! We can't have it. Where you get them gym shoes? From your sister? Where the hell you get that shit?
Drop his ass. Hey, Hezzy! You
That's two, but you can't get three. No, you can't get three.
You can't get three.
There you go.
great.
Grandpa gave it his best.
Do you remember tight end Eric Stokes?
I do.
I think I want to say Pete Kerplevich replaced him.
Kriplevich.
So that's who's the president of NFL Alumni Association, the Detroit chapter. But anyway, we were at the basketball courts after the outing in Wabeek, and there was a basketball court. Went, got over there. Eric Stokes is that old guy because he got serious. We're out here just playing 21. We're having some good time. It's like the young kids whose parents are members, some of the guys from the outing, and we're just shooting around. I'm not trying to get hurt. I ain't played basketball for 10 years.
Oh, my God.
He hit me in the nuts. He pushed me down. I was like.
That's so good. I love it.
Southpaw Slabs asks, is that Bo Cruz?
Hey, hell of a show today, fellas. Love each and every one of you guys. Braylon, here you go.
Man, it has been fun, man. Yo, tune into the Wimbledon, man. I've been like trying to find new things to watch since there's nothing going on. Hockey's over, basketball's over, baseball is irrelevant for the city of Detroit. Tune in to Wimbledon. Been some darn good matches, so check that out. But this is the bottom line, and we're having a damn good time doing it. My man Ryan Ermanni, Sam Fennell over there, Fletch over here, and my man Tom Mazawey on the couch. We do it every day, daily, because this is the bottom line.
In the music, the moment you own it, it better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music, the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow.